Here we are. Here we are. I think it says live, so it must be live. I suppose I should apologise first because I planned on doing this live stream about 6 o'clock this evening, but I've already had a couple of these and I've got a roast dinner coming as well, so I'm going to be probably a bit sleepy at 6 o'clock because it's Easter. Happy Easter, everyone. If you believe in that sort of religious stuff. Other religions are available, so help yourself. Loads of them to choose from. Also, other alcohols are available. I'm not sponsored by them, but if they want to send me some, bring it on. So I wanted to do a stream because I get a lot of questions. Since I moved house and got my RWF all set up, I get sent a lot of questions. So I just thought I'd... what's up, Gavin? What's up? Not only do I get a lot of questions, but I get a lot of interaction on our Facebook group now. I created the RWF Facebook group because I was sick of having all these different pictures of my collection in my phone gallery, on my Mac, which is a laptop. For those of you who are idiots, join the club. I started to put up pictures and stuff, and I thought, oh, you know what, I'm just going to make a Facebook page for myself to make sure it's all in one place. And turns out other people quite enjoy looking at it as well. So it's turned into like over 300 people. I mean, whether those are actual real people, because you know what the internet's like, they might all be stalkers, possibly. But doesn't mean I made it if I get a stalker. So... don't stalk me, please. So I wanted to go through. I am Robert, RWF, Robert Wrestling Federation. I sort of customise all sorts, really, for the Hasbro style, the smaller ones. I'll give you a example. This is one I made recently. Little Kamala, Moonbelly. Little Kamala there. Got to cut the skirt down. Little Kamala. Little necklace there, does come off, but why would you bother? Little feet, hands. So yeah, so the ones that Hasbro and Mattel mucked up, I remake. I break them down and build them back up, much like the army do to people. So you know, maybe I'm a colonel, whatever. So I wanted to start actually. My hello Yvonne. Hello Yvonne, my auntie Yvonne's watching. You should be so proud, Yvonne. Look at all this, eh? And you said all those years watching wrestling was wasted. So, first question I wanted to answer actually is I get a lot of questions about wrestling as it is now, like kind of AEW and all that kind of stuff. I have no idea. I am not a wrestling historian. I don't watch it now. I haven't watched it for probably Attitude Era, the end of the Attitude Era. So somebody's just told me to stop swinging in my chair. Sorry, it's a very comfortable chair. The end of the Attitude Era, it kind of, I moved back in with my parents and things, and I just didn't have control of the telly and the remote, so I didn't really watch it much, and I sort of fell out of love with it and sold a lot of my figures. I had the Hasbro collection, but since then I kind of started to build it back up, and I just love I think I was the right age for wrestling, like the 80s with the Macho Man and all that kind of stuff. I was a really, really small kid, so the theatrical good versus bad and all that, I loved it. And then I was a teenager when the Attitude Era came along, and I think that, the whole swearing and suck it and all that kind of stuff, DX, I was the perfect age for that. And then I just sort of grew out of it, and but never grew out of figures. How does that work? I don't know. Maybe I'll get back into it one day. Maybe that will go full circle. But the Royal Rumble was a big thing for me. I did want to mention this. The Royal Rumble was a massive, massive thing for me. I absolutely loved it. That was my WrestleMania, really. I used to love the process of elimination, the who's coming next, and the numbers, drawing the numbers out. Even to the point, that process I used to, as a kid, is cut out football teams, wrestlers' names, and rip them up and put them up against each other and draw them out and pick a winner, roll a dice and all that. Even to the point now, I have a podcast called Elimination. It's not wrestling based, but it is debating TV shows, movies and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I mean, the Royal Rumble was huge. And a few people have said, do you want to, can you send me pictures of this figure close up? Can you send me a picture of this? So it's just there's a lot of figures. There's a lot of figures. So I'm going to show a few of my favourites, and then I'll crescendo with the most important figure in my whole collection, which you'll find fascinating, I'm sure. So let me have a little swig of my beer. Happy Sunday, everyone. Happy Easter Sunday. If you've got a question as well about customising paint, clay, if you're interested in any of that, I mean, not a lot of people are, but if you want to, hi Pauline, if you've got a lot of questions about that, just post them on here, and I'll answer them as and when, if you really want to. But I've got a feeling, because I changed the time, it was supposed to be 6 o'clock, that I think some people watch later. Hi Salim. Hi Salim, you alright? Welcome to the RWF, mate. So, hi Pauline. So yeah, I'm just going to take you through a few of them. So I have a couple of rules when it comes to figures, Hasbro figures. I absolutely hate open hands, like Axe or Warlord. Hulk Hogan's got one as well. I mean, I hated it as a kid, because in my head I'm like, they're punching. They're not punching. They got their open hands, which really annoys me. So, but that's just what my rule. You know, you might have your own. And the other one is they don't really need a move for me. They don't need to have like the punching and the flipping, the arm moving around. It doesn't bother me as long as there's 2 arms, 2 legs, and a body. I'm not bothered. Sounds like I'm talking about women now, doesn't it? Like I'm trying to. Anyway, so I'm going to show you a couple of my my latest customs. So I've shown you Kamala. There he is. So this is a Kamala body from Hasbro, the jumper. I Dremeled, which is a little sander thing, the back off, you know, the jumpy thing. So it's a Hasbro body, Hasbro arms, Hasbro head. So you've already got the top half of the body. Then the feet are, if you look, they are the Hasbro feet, but I've just cut them in half. And then I'm not going to take the skirt off and show you how it's made, but yeah, it was really simple. The head was detailed. That was a lot. That was a lot. But I think it came out all right. Little Kamala. Oh, little Kamala. Not so little. The next one. Boom. Giant Gonzalez. And I'm going to give you a size marry up here. I don't have a Hasbro normal one. I'll use my Axe. There you go, look. There's my custom Axe and the Giant Gonzalez. Now, Hasbro mucked up the Giant Gonzalez because he wasn't that tall. He was only a little bit bigger than the Undertaker one. So yeah, so that's Giant Gonzalez there. Look at that. That's El Gigante legs from a Galoob. And the sorry, I'm burping as I'm drinking my beer. The body is a Shawn Michaels rocker body. And then the head's a cast I bought from someone, I can't remember who, but yeah, I think it came out all right. The size is immense. Look at that. That works so well. While we're on the subject, I might as well show you my Axe. I literally glued the head on this morning. So it's a crushed body with an Axe head. I'm not going to do this for loads of them, by the way. These are just my favourites. These are just recent ones. But the other rule, I was talking about rules. I like them to be in ring attire. So I like them to be wearing what they wrestle in, and anything that they don't wrestle in can be removable. Okay, so that was another rule. So this is, I've seen a lot of customs of these two. This is a tag team. A lot of customs of Power and Glory, Paul Roma and Hercules. And a lot of people have sort of clayed on the tops. So this is my take on it. So this is what I mean about in ring. So they come to the ring. So they come to the ring in them. Sorry, that's a bit loose there. They come to the ring like that. So you can see their feet. And then you just take it off. And then we start to get into the action. Boom. There we go. So that is an earthquake head. A Ultimate Warrior body. Hacksaw Jim Duggan legs. And hacksaw arms, and the move works. Some of them you pop them open and you can just whack them straight in, and the move works on them. But as I said, I'm not really bothered about the move, as long as they look good and the arms move. I don't like customizers who just stick arms on for display purpose only. No, because I'll get onto it later on, but I have done stop motion, so you know, whatever. So here he is, Paul Roma. That's actually a retro Triple H head. I just whacked the hair off and put some clay hair on it. I think it looks really like Paul Roma. But maybe I'll get a Paul Roma head made one day and replace it. But yeah, so Power and Glory, who were very underrated, I think. They were really good. Let's have a beer, eh? So I probably started collecting, this is another question I get a lot. I probably started collecting figures in the late 80s, early 90s. I'm going to go for 1990. I don't know for definite, but yeah, I think that is, because I was the right age. And the funny thing was, I wasn't even into wrestling as a kid, as when I got my first figure. Because cable and the internet and all that kind of stuff was... well, the internet wasn't about at all, but the cable had just come in, so we was getting American TV. So you know, it was at that time wrestling figures kind of started to appear in Argos and Index and all these kind of places. Remember them? God. Pauline used to work for Argos. She's watching. She got the sack for. We won't go into it. You know, it involved drinking. She's a big drinker. Anyway, so in 1990, I didn't get him out. So bear with me a sec. Don't look at my bum. Ugh. Pride of place. He's got his own. Oh God! It's a rumble. It's a rumble. So this figure is not the most expensive, not the rarest, not the best by any means. It breaks one of the rules that it's not in-ring attire, it's the outside. But it was the first one I ever got, and it's the one that started all this. Look at me, 40 years old now. Well, 39. Don't you know? 39, and now it's all this, and it all started with this guy right here. The $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. And he came with the belt. I mean, I lost the belt a long time ago. But he's in terrible shape. Look, he's got his thumb missing. Thumb missing there. He's all battered up in there. He's got hair rubbed off. The gold's not gold anymore. He's on his string. But he started it all. This one here, and I kept him. All the rest of them were sold. Mine was season 1, series 1 Hogan and Macho. They were very popular, and it seems weird to me that my dad bought me this one instead of Hulk Hogan, because he was like the face of it at that time, which was a bit bizarre why I got the $1 Million Man, but I absolutely loved it. Move still works, you know. But I'll tell you a little backstory on this. Is when I was a kid, and I had quite a few of them, not all of them, but I had quite a few. And I used to play with them with my friends. So my friends would come round, and I had a lot more than my friends at the time. So they come round, we'd play with them on there. And then if you had a lot of figures, if one went missing, you didn't notice straight away. You'd be doing a Royal Rumble or something, and then one would not be there. Oh, where is he? Well, where is he? And then you'd ask mum and dad, and they'd say, ask the other one, because they don't care. But that's a backstory for another time. So my Axe and Smash went missing when I was a kid, right? This ain't a long story, so bear with me. This is Axe and Smash went missing, but I didn't notice straight away. So they'd gone, And I said to my dad, oh, where is it? Have you seen them? Have you seen them? No, not seen them. Anyway, so we came down to the conclusion that a friend must have stolen them. He must have just taken them. Well, I have no proof of that at all, but we know who it was, and we'll get him one day. So my dad, and back then, because the internet wasn't around, YouTube, you didn't see figures. You didn't, if you had a magazine, a wrestling magazine, which my dad wouldn't waste his money on anyway, but they'd be pictures of figures in there, or the Argos catalogue. But the ones like Axe and Smash that you didn't see everywhere, the only time I got to see them is when I would watch my VHS of like UK Rampage or something like that. And at the beginning of it, Silvervision, they'd have a little advert for figures, wrestling figures, Hasbro figures. And you see Axe and Smash on there. You know, it's so real, it's like being in the ring. And I used to watch that all the time and think, oh, where are they? You know, why have they gone missing? And I used to get really upset. Anyway, so my dad said, well, let's prevent that from happening again. So what he did, and I can prove it with this, is he took all of my wrestling figures. Now, I didn't have all of them, as I say, but maybe there was 20, 25, something like that. And he took them all to his work. And I don't know if you can see that, but on his foot there, it's got Bob written on it. Don't know if you can see that. And it's not written on, it's like melted on. So he's used like I don't know what he used. He used something to write my name, so you can't scratch it off, you can't remove it. It's like Toy Story, isn't it? It's like Toy Story with Andy. So he painstakingly, what a great dad, eh? He painstakingly put Bob on every single bottom of the foot of every single figure, and there's like 25. I bet the dad's in work. I'm like, what are you up to? Oh, I'm just welding. I'm just welding Hulk Hogan, my son's name, into Hulk Hogan's boot. I mean, it's crazy when I think back, but what a great idea. And none ever went missing again. You know, we never did find out if it was that certain kid, but that kid's dead now, so that's good. He's not. He might be. I mean, I don't know. We lost contact. Yeah. So that he's the one that started it all. And my dad always said he looks like Noel Edmonds. If you're watching from overseas, you're like, who the hell is Noel Edmonds? But yeah, if you Noel Edmonds, maybe. So yeah. So the gold is gone, but I kept him. I sold all the rest of them, but I kept him because it's just symbolic. There are photos of me opening him up on that birthday, but as most parents these days, they got tons of photos that you have to go through. So I'm not going to do that just for this interaction. But yeah, so that's where it all started for me. And I said that as a kid, the Royal Rumble was huge. What we used to do is because what's that, Ryan? Always dreamed of winning both the SNES and Mega Drive on Noel's house party. Oh, me too. God, and Mr. Blobby used to scare the out of me. Oh my God, Mr. Blob. I mean, if you're listening to this overseas, you're like, no, Edmonds and Mr. Blob. What the hell is going on? But yeah, he was. Yeah, it was the stuff of nightmares. But yeah, so that's not one thing I thought I'd end up talking about on this live stream. But thank you, Ryan. Thanks for interacting. You're the only one, so you know. Let's not. Come on, people, get involved. So what was I saying? Let's have a drink. Yeah. Oh yeah, the Royal Rumble. That's what I was saying. So the Royal Rumble, because I was in the UK, it used to be on like 1 o'clock 2 o'clock in the morning, something like that, because obviously the time difference. So my dad used to make us go to sleep really early. Make us go ridiculous, because we'd have school the next day. So we'd go to bed really early, and he'd put this big board up against the window to keep the light out, because we couldn't afford curtains. It was actually the board that we'd stuck Sabutio pitch to. Little fact there for you. And he put it up against the window to keep the light out so that we'd fall asleep. Not that we did, because we were so excited. So then he'd wake us up at like 1 o'clock, whatever time it was in the morning, and he'd come and get us out of bed. And then we'd go downstairs and we'd watch the Royal Rumble. in the early hours of the morning, and we do bets. So we draw numbers out of a hat. So say I picked out number 5, number 7, number 29, because there are 30 participants if you don't know. I mean, if you don't know what a Royal Rumble is, why are you even watching this? So we used to put them out, and then your number would come up, and you'd be like, oh my God, this one's mine, this one's mine. Oh, it's Skinner. Oh, this one's mine, this one's mine. Oh, it's the Hulkster, yeah, and it was so exciting. It was great. I remember '93, Macho Man. I had Macho Man, and I was convinced he was going to win. I was convinced. There was just no way that the bad guy was going to win. It just didn't happen back there. And I was distraught when Yoko's in. Looking back on it, it's a great winner to have. But yeah, I was so gutted. And my brother was very happy. But it was that was always stayed in my mind, and made me appreciate sort of watching something is entertaining, obviously, and something that you look forward to. But just adding that little aspect of it of, oh, this one's mine, this one's yours, whatever. Oh, mine just eliminated yours. Oh, look at my 2 blokes are going at it. Come on, you're supposed to be a team, but they're not. So it made it so much more exciting for us. And then going to school the next day, nobody else would have watched it. They'd watched a repeat in a week's time or something. I was watching it live, and nobody would want to know the answer. They'd be like, oh, what happened? And you tell them. Sometimes I used to tell them the wrong thing, so that when they watched it, they would be, I'd say the Macho Man one, and then they can't Google it, can they? As a kid in a primary school, so they'd watch it and be shocked at the end. So I'd add to their torture. What? So that's my love for the Royal Rumble, the love for the numbers game. I absolutely loved it. They don't do it anymore, and they stopped doing it pretty early on. But they used to do like the raffle thing. Do you remember when they used to like roll it up and then take a number? And they used to sort of, you'd have Axe and Smash sort of saying, no, I'm gonna get you, and it was $1 Million Man buying a number, and the numbers thing is sort of irrelevant now. And it seems like the Royal Rumble now is there's so much stop start. The action stops every time somebody comes in, and I don't know whether that's because the entrance they've got, each one of them has got the music and turn the lights off for the taker and all that kind of stuff. But I think it loses some of when the buzzer goes and somebody runs out. Maybe I should try that one day. I don't know. But then you have got, I forget the year, but the one with when Cena returned and Triple H's face. So I get, the music does add to it, and the theatrical part of it is part of the love for it. So I'm just going to show a few of my work in 2008. Yeah, I'm great with the Royal Rumbles up to about 2001. And then that's when I kind of fell off. But 2008, yeah, that was a good Rumble. That was. I don't like the short aisle run. I don't like that. There should be a long lead up to them getting to the ring. I don't like it when they're just there and they get in the ring. It makes it shorter somehow. I like to build it up. So I just wanted to show a few work in progress because I am going to start, now I've moved into my own house and I can have the RWF like this. I can see what I need to make, but I'm also going to start selling. Not to make loads of money, just because I like making them. And once I've made one for my collection, for instance, Henry Godwin and Phineas Godwin, I really enjoyed making these. But obviously if I make them, put them in my collection, what's the point of making them again? So now I'm going to, if I've got the heads and the parts and things like that, I'm going to start making them. Start making more and selling them just so other people can enjoy it. Yeah. So Henry and Phineas Godwin. So that's the plan anyway. I mean, I don't expect to, be able to give up my job for it, but I like doing it, and it's it keeps me out of trouble, as my fiance says. So I just wanted to show this one as well. This isn't a work in progress, but this is one of my recent ones, and I love it. Boom. King Mabel. King Mabel is so heavy, like there's so much weight to it. Look at that. King Mabel. King Mabel. There he is. Yeah, I love the clay work. It took me ages to sort of perfect it, but I think I'm getting there now. I can always improve, but I think I'm getting there. It annoys me that I missed this bit though. See where the gold goes straight down, but the purple goes into like a lightning strike. There should be a little bit of purple there, but I've already sprayed it now, so I can't amend it. But it is what it is. It's not like I see that every time I look at it. So yeah, so that's Mabel. That was one just for size difference. Giant Gonzalez and Mabel. Yeah, but I just love these figures, and the beauty of making them. If you don't make them yourself, if you don't customize or repaint, you know, in that feeling when you was a kid and used to get a new figure and you used that injection of like, oh my god, oh god, and then you take it out and you feel it for the first time. You're like, oh, that's the moves, that's the oh, that's brilliant. With customizing, you get that feeling but longer. You get like a, because you see it come together. You see the body parts. You're waiting for the head to arrive. You're waiting for the all these little bits to kind of, and you slowly but surely comes together. And I used Das clay, which is like a air drying clay, which apparently is not the best one to use, but it's worked for me so far. But I hate that feeling of clay on my hands. That's pathetic, I know, but yeah, I just hate that after a while it gets sort of solid on your hands, and you have to constantly keep it wet, which is quite messy, especially in a new home. You don't want to get that on your carpet. So yeah, it's just the love of the figures. Look at it. I mean, how can you not love that? How can you not love that? Mabel, by the way, terrible wrestler, but custom looks great. What heads would you use to do Jacques and Ramon Rouget? Well, saying that, certain heads, Salim, I started off only doing using Hasbro heads. I think this is a journey that most customizers take. They're like, whoa, I've got all these Hasbro heads, I can use the Hasbro heads. And then one time you think, oh, I'll use this Mattel head I've got laying around or something, and it looks incredible, and then it changes. You're like, oh my god, I can make everybody look exactly like them. I actually bought yeah, I'll show you, because I'm not a snob when it comes to figures. If somebody is selling figures that I think that I wouldn't be able to make, or they just look great, then I would buy it. And I have bought figures. And I'll show you these. Look, I bought these. These are the exactly ones you're talking about. Jacques and Rougeau. The fabulous Rougeaus. And I saw them and I thought, wow, they are clean. The paint job is amazing. They look like Hasbro figures. I don't know about the heads. I don't, because I didn't make them. So, but they are them, aren't they? It's perfect. Yeah, look at that. Yeah. So I don't know is the answer to that. What heads would I use? I would ask somebody if they, because there's lots of people that make casts of heads. I don't bother with that. I just buy the heads. Or if you've got somebody who does make casts of heads, I end up obviously with Hasbro's. The heads, I'll pop the head off of Mattel, and then I've got a body. A lot of people use them bodies to customize bigger ones or make casts. So I've found somebody that I send the bodies to for free, and he sends me heads in exchange. So there's no money, we don't earn anything, but he gets something from me and I get something from him. So the community of customizers and making figures, and it's a great community. If you're not part of pages like Legion of Hasbro's, W Figs, I mean, there's loads of them, but they're two of the top ones. But yeah, there's loads of them. Just pop these back in. Yeah, I was going to say, actually, talking about my $1 Million Man, where it all started. I don't know how many people are going to watch this video. Who cares? I don't know. But with that, I'm just curious. With that bob on the foot, and I sold them all apart from this one, and I had about 25. I am just curious if you've got Hasbros sitting around that you haven't had since childhood and you've bought online, or just have a look at the foot. Just have a look at the foot, because if it's got bob on it, it's a former RWF original. So I'm just curious. Have a little look. Little bobby on the foot there. So yeah, so I'm just going to take you through some of my... Oh, by the way, I have got, since I've had the RWF up in cabinets and things, I've been able to assess, because I've had them in storage for so long. I moved in with my parents just before COVID hit, and I was supposed to be there for 6 months. 4 years later, I've moved into my own home, so I can have it all set up. Obviously, 4 years ago, I was not as good at customizing as I am now, so I've sort of upped my game. So a lot of the figures that are outdated, I am gonna sell. I have got some on eBay at the moment. I've got Diesel, Rikishi. Who else have I got? They're here. Razor Ramon. I think he ends today with a gold chain and the vest. There's loads of them. I've got the whole of Nation of Domination on there. I've got Triple H. I've got Triple H in China on there. Hasbro Customs. These are all on eBay at the moment, but they're good. But I know now I can do a lot better. So I'm gonna update my collection and let other people enjoy them. Because if you don't customize, I think sometimes it can be a bit you can feel a bit left out. Like, oh, I wish I could have that one. I wish I could have that one. Again, I'm not doing it to make money. I'm just doing it to update my collection. Might as well go to somebody who appreciates it. But I am collaborating with MWF. MWF? God, that's the beer talking. Hold on, let me top up. MWF. Teeth back in. Medway Wrestling Figures. I am going to go to a couple of toy fairs with them and display my customs. I've never seen custom Hasbro figures at a toy fair before, but I am willing to give it a go. We'll see what happens, because you put a figure on eBay, you can just do an auction. It sells for how much it is. But now I've got to go and think how much do I think that is worth? And that's going to be a bit difficult, because it's easy to say, oh yeah, I'll have 50 quid a figure. But I know that one took me 2 minutes because I just repainted it. And that one took 3 days because I've got to mould a whole body. So it's difficult to sort of gauge it. And I don't know if... but we'll see. I'm willing to give it a go, get outside my comfort zone, and meet people, like-minded people, who like the same sort of stuff. Yeah, I think the first one's in Chatham. I don't know if you're near there or around there. But I know the internet's quite global, so you probably never even heard of Chatham. But keep an eye on eBay. I am going to be selling them. I wanted to show a few of my work in progress, just to show you sort of the stages of it. So first one is Hollywood Hulk Hogan. So that's the body. So you got a Sid Justice Hasbro legs and upper body with a Hulk Hogan arms, and this will be the head. So it's I think it's the ultimate, because I got 3 heads for that figure. The ultimate. So that's a work in progress. That's a Hulk Hogan, the old black and white. The most difficult, but I get this question a lot. What's the most difficult bodies to sort of break open and get? The ones that are terrible are the British Bulldog. Man, as a kid, I was worried about breaking these figures. I should not have been so worried. Jesus, you can't whack them open you have to boil them and try and get in the crease, and oh man, I've cut my finger so many times, it's unbelievable. I need a better technique. So the British Bulldog, which is obviously Lex Luger as well, it's the same upper body. And the other one is the Hulk Hogan that I got these arms from. You know the Hulk Hogan with the yellow shirt? I mean, I know they've all got yellow shirts, but the one like that with these arms, that is impossible. I've never been able to break it open without cutting into it. But I would never. I don't think I'd reuse it again anyway. So, but yeah. So little Hollywood Hulk Hogan coming. I'll show you the comparison actually. So, as I said before, 4 years ago I was customizing, and the difference is the standard is so different. So I'll give you a comparison. So this is Hollywood Hulk Hogan as I'm gonna make him. The future, okay, and this is the difference. This is the one I made 4 years ago maybe. Don't get me wrong, it looks great, it does look good. You can see that on the bandana there, Hollywood and NWO for life. I mean, it looks good, but when you compare it, you can see the difference in standard there. NWO, by the way, will be going on eBay, and not just one of them, but a good 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 figures, NWO figures. So keep your eye on that. They're not up yet, but they will be. So yeah, that's the difference. The Hulk Hogan and Hulk Hogan. You just see the detail. And that's what I mean when you start customizing, you end up putting a head on and you think, oh my god, everything changes. So next up is Karma, the Ultimate Fighting Machine. So I don't know if you can see the hands there. So I bought a Karma figure. So it's a Hacksaw Jim Duggan body with Hacksaw arms, but I've cut the hands off. So he hasn't got a thumb up, because that makes no sense. What's your eBay? It's my name, Robert Rivet. That's R-I-V-E-T-T. It's terrible having a bad surname you have to spell every time you say it. I envy those who are just Smith. Yeah, check it out, Ryan. There's quite a few on there at the moment. I think a few of them are ending today, but I'm continually putting them up there. For instance, I've got a Gangrel on there at the moment with Edge and Christian as well. Arn Anderson, Lex Luger. I mean, there's tons of them. Natural Disasters. There's New Age Outlaws as well. If I'll show you these. I didn't make all of these figures. I don't mean to claim that I made all these figures, because there's probably somebody watching it thinking I made that figure. I didn't make all these figures, but what I want to do is update my collection so that I've made all the figures. So Road Dogg and Mr. Arse. Who Mr. Arse, Billy Gunn, has actually held this figure. I went to Comic-Con, I took it with me, and he held it. So it's got special thing, but I didn't make it. That's the thing. He's held it, but I didn't make it, so I feel a bit sort of, I want to make my own. I did make my own a little while back. And again, this was okay for me in the beginning. Buy somebody else's, because I thought, oh, that's brilliant. That is so good. And it is. It's talent to do that. But then I made my own. And see what I mean? Just I don't know, it just looks better. It's just that not a lot better. I'm not, blowing my own trumpet. But just, I think it's just that little bit tweaked a little bit. So yeah, so they're on eBay at the moment. Put him there. So yeah, where was I? I've lost Karma's head. Oh, there it is. So, hacksaw body, hacksaw legs, hacksaw arms. Easy custom. Cut the hands off. I used a Dremel, by the way. Dremel's like a little... have I already said that? Maybe that's the beer kicking in. Let me top up. I use a Dremel, which is a very small, almost like a drill, but you can change the head so that it's a sanding thing. It's a drill. It's got loads of different heads on it. But so yeah, so I cut the hands off, and I put Karma, the figure that I got of Karma. Let me give you an example. So this is the figure I bought. Okay, it had the Karma head on it. Okay, that's the figure that I bought. But I'm not a fan of the big figures. I don't know, they don't do it for me. Yeah, I hate to say it, and I know people wind me up saying this, but oh yeah, he collects dolls. Dolls. These would eat dolls up. But this does, in my mind, it's a little bit too doll-like. But I love them, don't get me wrong, but they take up a lot of space. I see people's collections of them and they look amazing, but there's no way my fiance would allow me to have more than 4 cabinets. So that's the figure that I bought. Put it in boiling water, the head pops straight off, hands pop straight out. Okay, this is going to somebody who's sending me heads as a swap, so get yourself some deals. And then, yeah, so I drilled a hole in the hand, drilled it in, pop that in. Sometimes you need to glue it, sometimes you can just wedge it in, it will just stay there. But I put a bit of glue in there. And of course, Karma had white tape around his hands. So what I'll do is I'm not sure what I'll get, like electrical tape or something. I'll cut it really slim and then wrap it round so it looks like tape. You can also do it with clay, but that's probably how I'm going to do it. But then I will put a clay neck on there. So let's see if it stays there. There you go. So that's how it will look eventually. So I see a lot of customizers talk about, oh, look at this figure, that's a great figure, but I like the process, and there's not a lot of sort of videos or people out there who show work in progress as it sort of goes together. Next one is, I don't know a lot about this fella, Tommy Dreamer. Again, hacksaw bodies come in so handy, I'm telling you. When they start running out, when they go into, when they're extinct, I'm going to be well disappointed. So, thumb doesn't make any sense on Tommy Dreamer. So, I just sanded it down on the inside, zoop, and then just pushed it, and it snapped, and it stays there. Stays there now. That's it. I might put some glue on it so it doesn't fall off or whatever, but got a good hand for holding the hardcore stuff that Tommy Dreamer used to do. But yeah, little Tommy Dreamer. Great size for Keith Lee too. Yeah, it would be. It's such a great body. I've used this body with different legs, and it's just I think shirts, tops with no shirts on. You can use more and more, like the model, like Sid Justice, Hasbro's body, because you can add a shirt or add a but also you can, that's what I was going to say, you can also, one of my favourite customs that I made that you can do is get some legs, for instance, like Warlord legs, right? And I made an Undertaker out of it. So this was modelled on the Undertaker that Maven eliminated from the Royal Rumble. So let me take the t-shirt off. See what I mean about in-ring attire. You can take this off, and then you've got the in-ring attire. But they are Warlord legs, and I've just put some trousers on it. Clay, and giving them a paint. Tattoos, and I don't know if you can see that, but the elbow pads are electrical tape. So it actually looks raised. How do you feel the neck? Well, you can do it one of two ways. First one is you don't have to. Salim, you don't have to. I'll give you an example of that. What I would have done if I could find it. That's the problem with having such a big collection. You can't always find what you're looking for. Much like love in life. That's not true, by the way. No, I don't know where it is, so I'm just going to carry on. But you don't have to. Some figures, like Karma. Where's the head? So like Karma, if I just push that on, see the hole in there. If I put this in boiling water and just pushed it on, let's see if I can do it here. Oh, there you go. It popped. It popped. So, I mean, it looks like he's got no neck. But see, there's no gap. Some heads, if you're lucky, some heads will just do that, and then you can move it. And you could just leave it like that. In fact, I might even use it like that. Or, I'll show you my next custom, which will explain the next bit, is this one here. This is Randy Orton. So this is a Sid Justice legs and body. This is a retro Randy Orton arms, from the retro, which was a real pig to open up that body. Wow, they made them well. And what I've done is before I glued the body together, I put screws in the arms. So I drilled screws into, I actually went through it, look, really annoyed at myself, look, there's a hole there. But the screw I've put into, it comes out of the body into the arm, and then you just screw the arm as tight as you can, and then you can pose it. Like that. And then this turns as well. So this is actually the first one I've done with the screws. First time I've ever done that. So it worked out quite well. But if you look at the hole in the head, you can't get any purchase on that. Because Hasbro had that kind of round bit. And the body would squeeze up, and then that round bit would turn. It wasn't a ball like the Retros or the Mattels or anything like that. So the question is, how do you put that head on there? So what I would do, what I am going to do, is I will get my Dremel, which is a very small drill, if you just join us, and drill into there. And I would get, I tell you what is good for it, is like a paintbrush. Just snap the end off, just a little bit. Whack a load of clay in there, sort of feed it in. Put the stick in there, so you're almost cementing that in, and then put a little bit of clay in there, put it on as far down as you want to, so if you've got a gap like that, there's a gap, there'll be clay in there, and then you can just get a knife or use your finger or whatever tool you've got and just scrape away the clay that is excess, and it will just create a nice neck, sort of slim down the back. I'll see if I can get a. It's quite difficult to start off with, to get used to it. But if I come back to the Undertaker one, see, I put that neck on the same way. Yeah, so it's like clayed on. But once it dries, that's the beauty with the clay that I use, is that once it dries, which it doesn't take long to dry, I'll get a little bit of sandpaper and just sand it down, and just till it's smooth, and it doesn't look abnormal. And then the fun bit comes when you start to paint details and stuff. I do use decals sometimes. I'm trying not to, because they're just another expense, and because curb stomp. Oh, run out of beer, and I. Curb stomp detail. No, gotta go back. In America, there is a company called Curb Stomp Decals. Got it there eventually. And they do decals of tattoos and logos and stuff. But I'm trying not to use as many decals as I used to, because I used to spend so much money on them. And it's things that I could really do. I was being lazy. For instance, I made these Beverly Brothers. And they are decals, the stars, But if you look, the purple is just a bit different to the tights. So I don't know. I am going to sell these, but I just I don't know. I could have done stars. I mean, I could have painted stars. But I made a figure that's changed that for me. That's made me think, you know what, I should test myself and do more detail and not just rely on decals. And I will show you this figure. Now, I think any customizer will tell you that Kurt Angle is a pain in my arse. He's so frustrating. His attires are ridiculous. His outfits and that, stripes, stars, I mean, it's crazy how much detail. After you told me about them, I just dropped 50 quid on decals as I can't paint the detail for shit. Hey, you got to start somewhere, Ryan. Ryan, seriously, I've spent so much money on decals, but when they arrive, it's like, I call it decal day. It's decal day, and I sit there with my water and my little pincers, and I attach it all. And I love that process, but that was just me being lazy. If you can do it, why not do it? So so on my Undertaker, I did actually paint that. I don't know if you can see. Dead Man ink. It looks pretty good. I was really pleased with it. So I thought I like to give it a go, and if I can't, I mean, I made a Coco Beware, and I tried to paint the parrot on the side of his thing, and it just looked like some kind of weird meerkat. But anyway, I made this figure that I'm going to show you, and it changed my sort of opinion. I think, or I should attempt to paint the detail on more. And as I said, Kurt Angle is a pain in the backside, because he is just immense with his attires and that. So this is the figure I made, and there are no decals here. I did the stripes, I did the A on the front. Laces and that, and it goes to a point there, and then there's an A on the back. And this is a bushwhacker upper body, and if you remember, the on a bushwhacker, this comes down like this. This is that. So I just put some clay here so they ended higher, because his attire does end up there. It has a thing on the back. So yeah, I mean, it's not easy, don't get me wrong. I mean, it took me a few goes. It gets to the point where you paint over it sometimes. You think, oh, I'm just going to paint over it. The amount of times I tried doing this. One time I had it perfect, and then for some stupid reason I just picked it up and put my thumb right on the A and just smudged the whole thing up. I was not best pleased. I was not. God, the cat got a good old kicking that night. I haven't got a cat, by the way. I don't. But he looks great, and if you add accessories as well, the medals, it looks great. I think it worked out really well. They're British Bulldog legs, bushwhacker upper body, and obviously a Kurt Angle head from a Mattel figure. Yeah, just it's worth giving it a go. I mean, it took me a long time to get to that point where I was painting, like for these for instance, Power and Glory, as I said before, Power and Glory. So I drew this Glory on the front there, but these are decals on the bum, on the back, which they look good, but they're not big enough. I don't think they look quite small. And then you've got Hercules has the thing on the boot. They look great, and it works. And if you can't do detail, like, I mean, some of them I just think, oh, you know what, I've got to buy a decal for this. Tattoos are a no-go for me. I do not paint. I painted. I'll show you. I'm here to show off my collection, but I'm not here to blow my own trumpet. I know where my downfalls are, and I know where my downfalls are tattoos. Early on, I didn't have the money for decals, so I started painting them. And if you look at this Godfather, it looks great from far away, but when you look up close, the tattoos look terrible. Look, I will definitely paint over them at some point and do it again with a decal or something. But yeah, so it's trial and error. And the beauty with these figures is you can always change it. You can always I've had figures before where I've got to the point where I'm ready to paint and I'm just not happy with it, and I'll pull the head off and remold something or redo something. It's constantly changing and it's adapting to what is going on. Yeah, my aim when I had my wrestling figures all set up like this, the RWF, my aim was to have, because I love the Royal Rumble, is to have Royal Rumble from the first ever one with Hacksaw winning it all the way up, and have this. I know the sun's shining on that, but I don't know if you can see that. It's a stand by Carl Steele. And I was going to have all 30 participants of each Royal Rumble on each one. So each one would be a Royal Rumble in that attire, whatever they wore. That's why I'm making sort of ones that are, why would anybody make them? Like, for instance, forget the year, somebody posted it up, but the one where Stone Cold, Bret Hart eliminated Stone Cold, and then Stone Cold came back in and eliminated Bret and won it. Don't know, I can't remember what year that was, 97 I want to say. But yeah, if you remember, there was a big thing about luchadors. They had Pierroth, and the guy, Mil Mascaras was in it as well, and which I've made them two, and then I've got Cibernetico as well. So that was my aim, to have all 30 participants made of each Royal Rumble in that order. But then I started to think, well, then I can't have knobs and sags together, or the Steiners are 1 and 2, so that would work out. But like tag teams, I couldn't have them on display together. So I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just collecting figures, customizing figures, drinking beer, and having fun with it. You know, come on, you crazy kids out there, give it a go. But don't do it too well, because I don't like competition. So I'm going to do more of these videos because I like to hear my own voice, but I, you know, if it's something that you would want to be part of, then join me. Sorry again that this was not 6 o'clock. This was 1 o'clock. But as I said, I'm going to have a few more beers and a roast dinner, so I'll probably be asleep by 6. But yeah, let me show you just one more that I'm very excited about, actually, who I've put off making for a very long time because the attire is always busy. There's always a lot of stuff going on. One of them was Max Moon, which I did make, and he's here somewhere. Come on, Max Moon, mate. Where are you? There he is. I mean, look at that. That's ridiculous. But I will be selling him at a toy fair because it's a Tatanka head. And I know that I can do better. But for clay work, make yourself a Max Moon, and you'll know a lot more about clay work. Yeah, Max Moon. But the one I was talking about that is a work in progress is this guy. I'm very excited about this. So, clearly a Mr. Perfect legs and body with doink arms. These are Shawn Michaels Mattel hands, because of the gloves. And then an RVD head, which I've just glued on, but you can see sort of through the head bit. So I'm probably going to put a bit of clay in there just to cover it up. But I think that looks great. Again, with Kurt Angle, his top, I had to raise it up so that it comes across here. I think I might have to do that here because RVD sort of goes from 2 at the front into 1 at the back. Oh, sounds sexual, doesn't it? So yeah, that's I want to do the tiger attire. You know, the white and orange with the skull, Mr. Pay-Per-View and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. Sort of come together nicely. And sometimes you get to this point and you're like, it's not working. These too tall or too small or too I don't know. Yeah, it just doesn't feel right. Sometimes you know if you put it together and then you'll look at it and think, oh, if I paint that, I'm constantly going to be looking at that bit that I did wrong. Like King Mabel with the nobody else would notice. Nobody else has noticed, but I notice. and the lightning strike goes up and down, but the gold stays straight. That annoys me. That annoys me. So yeah, it's a constant learning techniques, and talking to people as well about what they use, what clay they use, paints and things like that. I will, as I said, I will do more of these videos. Just me chatting, really. But I enjoy it. I love showing my collection off. If there are any pictures of figures or anything that you want to see close up, or you want to ask any questions, I suppose, just get in touch on the group. I'm quite active on there. I'm constantly looking for Hasbro fodder. Obviously, they're going to dry out one day. Yeah, so this is the RWF. I am Robert of the RWF, the Robert Wrestling Federation, and I'll see you later, I suppose. I don't know how these things end. How do you normally end these? Has anybody got any questions? Do you want to put a question in there, or no? I think I'll just have another beer. Have a good Easter Sunday, everyone, and enjoy the time off from work, because let's face it, we all deserve it. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I am in a few weeks. I'm going to Florida. I'm in the UK. I'm going to Florida for not for anything, but just because it's there and it's apparently quite nice. But I'm going to be going to Hogan's Beach Shop. That's where I'm going. I'm going to go Hogan's Beach Shop, which is very exciting. I have been there before, a long time ago, about 5-6 years ago now. But I'm very excited to go there again. I'm hoping that there'll be some kind of sign-in there when I go. Last time I went, 2 days after I went there, they had Coco Beware and Jimmy Hart there. I was gutted, so I'm hoping that somebody will be there, that I can go there and maybe I'll take one of my RWF figures and just put him in a corner somewhere. Yeah, okay. Well, that went all right, didn't it? That was all right. Any questions or anything, let me know. Enjoy Sunday, and see you on the flip-flop later.